Hey there, Connor here.
Hey guys, Dominic here.
Well, this should be fun. We get to see Michael Dorn and Michelle Hurd, who we've both had both of them on.
Couple of returnees.
Independently.
Yeah.
She's now done our, well...
3 times. Well, this will be the third, you're right.
That's right.
We had the strike episode.
That's right.
Yeah, which was very illuminating.
This will be fun. They were so good together in Picard Season 3.
They sure were. You know, Michelle being a newcomer, to, as it were, to the Star Trek family, thrown in at the deep end with Michael Dorn, a.k.a. Worf, who must have done, I think it's something like 900 episodes now.
Are you serious?
I'm kind of serious. He is the longest running character in the most amount of shows that the franchise.
Well, I could use a loan.
has ever done. We spend it all on planes.
You're right.
Planes, trains, and automobiles. And other things. But I know that they really had a lot of appreciation for each other. Shooting the scenes they had, and
you could tell
there was good chemistry, wasn't there?
You
can
tell.
always tell. It does. It leaps off the screen, doesn't it?
Right.
When you see actors who are enjoying each other.
They both do independently as well, and to get them together, it's a heady mix.
Yeah, and I know Michelle's been real busy because just the engineering of this has been tricky. She's been off in Montana making a western, which I'm intrigued to hear about. And Michael, I'm not sure what he's been. I know he plays tennis a lot. And,
yeah.
So yes, it's going to be very exciting, and I think I know they're excited to see each other. I've been texting with them setting this up, so I know they're well chuffed.
Excellent.
And,
well, we hope you enjoy it.
Yes. I know. Please, this is what we call our call to action. We really need your support. I can't say it any more clearer than that. So please find us at the Decon Chamber on YouTube and on Spotify
And
Apple
Podcasts
and thedeconchamber.com.
Yep.
But the best way you can support us really is to become a Patreon member at patreon.com. And for a small amount of money a month, you can help us keep these lights on and keep this show going. We know you love it. So please step up and help us do that.
And join us Sundays at 11 o'clock Pacific time on YouTube for new episodes. And we've got some great ones coming.
We sure have.
So pay attention. Look at the website. It'll let you know when we are starting. So we can't wait to bring it to you.
Thank you, guys. Hey, guys. Stick around for Tricky Trek Trivia after this episode. You might win a Jackson.
The show has begun. Set your phasers to fun. You're guaranteed for a trip. Slip into the decon with Connor and Dom. It's the Decon Chamber.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, Trekkies and Trekkers, welcome back to another episode of the Decon Chamber. I'm your co-host, Dominic Keating, alongside my bestie, my old castmate, Connor Trinneer.
Hey-o.
Today, well, we got a twofer.
Twofer.
And one of the best tiffers you could get. Both returnees in their rights. Michelle Hurd, welcome back.
Thank you,
Michael Dorn, welcome back, a.k.a. Rafi
Good to see you guys.
and Worf himself. How are you guys?
Yes.
So good to be
you look
my
so good
bestie
to be
right
back
here.
here.
You are two of the fittest mofos in town, aren't you?
Yeah,
Look at you.
and before we get started, I have to say something because I haven't been able to say it over the years, but I'm going to say it now.
Oh, nice.
There's, when I got in the business, there's, you realize that it's a tough business. It's not difficult. I mean, it's very difficult, ups and downs and blah, blah, blah.
It is.
But the main thing
Tell me about
is that keeps me going is that occasionally, rarely, something happens. I worked with a couple of actors, and you just kind of go, okay, this is why I do it, and
this young lady?
Yeah.
Because I
mean,
remember the last time you were with us, you just shot and you couldn't talk about it.
Yeah.
So now you can talk
Now
about
I can
it.
talk
But
about it, yeah.
he was in love with the fact
Yeah.
that he'd had this time with you.
Same here.
And it's three levels basically. What it is that the first is that we met while we were doing stunts.
That's right. That was our
It
first
wasn't
time.
acting together. We
Yeah.
were, they had us in
Incredible
doing stunts. Practicing,
Yeah.
rehearsals for stunts. And she was a doll and got along really well. And that was one level, really great personality. Then the second level was how she was as an actor. She was like one of those actors that are like, not the ego going on. It's all about the work and being together and collaborating, and that was fantastic because that's what I
Good tennis partner. You know?
Oh, a great
absolutely.
tennis partner, And then the third level was that off camera, that the thing that I really, clued in that's another two levels. One level, she's very, very good about actors and being on the set and making sure that we're all taken care of like we're supposed to. Because there was she told me a story about she comes on the set first year of Picard, and she looks around and there's no black makeup artists or hair people.
She told us that.
Yeah.
And I went
Still.
and she went. She said. So I said. She said. I went. Nope. That's not gonna happen.
Not on my watch.
And the good thing, and this is a good lesson, is that it was great for her. They took care of that, but then it was great for me
That's right.
because when I got there, there's black makeup artists.
on set.
I didn't have to say anything,
That's
and
right.
there was a black hair person, and they called him in, and he did my mustache and blah blah blah, and I love the story. There's one lady that I'm sitting there, and I'm dry skin.
Yes.
It's ashy, as we call it.
We don't do
And she
ashy.
goes, Michael, do you need something for the ash? And I go, yes, I do. Thank you. And
That's right.
she,
That's
she was
shorthand.
fantastic.
That's
How
right.
did you
I
sort of muddle through those years on Next Gen and Deep Space Nine? I'm sure that wasn't available so much.
No, it wasn't. No, it wasn't. But
Did you just bite your lip and?
But the thing is that, and I was talking to Marina this morning, is that, when you're glad to have a job,
Yes. This is the
Yeah.
thing.
you just kind of go,
Yeah.
you make those decisions about,
Where I'm
okay,
gonna
can
fuss
I, how far can I take this?
Right.
That's right.
How far can I go?
That's right.
There was
And
a
still
couple of-
maintain being employed.
Well, it's still being hired, and there was a couple of times where I just went, okay, no matter what, I got to say something.
That's right.
There was one time where they were making up one of my stunt guys, Rusty, and he and I have become great friends, and he was friends with the AD and he's very light skinned, and so they were making him up with dark, and with that dark and the light, he looks like a white guy. Oh, and I went,
Kind of like a white man in blackface. That's just
yeah, and I went, okay, no.
Yeah.
And I called the producer and I said, guys,
You can't do this.
you can't do this.
That's
We would never do that. Well, I'm sorry.
You're doing it now.
And the assistant director walked by and she knew, and Rusty knew too. And she goes, "It's okay, Michael. He's all right." I said, "Oh, okay." And but that was one of the things that I. And then the third thing was that after working, we would always come out, and her car is parked next to mine,
That's right.
and we would debrief.
That's right.
Go over the day's work.
Oh,
Nice.
can you
All
believe
of
that?
it,
Oh my
yeah.
God! Yeah. we kinda- well, what do you think? And we
That's
go
right,
on
we
and
just
on and
go.
on, and then we end up going, "Hey, it's their show."
That's right.
we get in
Yeah.
our cars and go on about
That's
our
right.
business.
Right.
Yeah, but that sort of debriefing
exactly
also
right.
sort of leads to the next day's work together, where you.
Well,
you
yeah,
do, you know.
and the
just-
debrief was that, and was also the spiritual kind of debrief because
yeah.
we're still on the same journey
That's
together
right.
about spiritualness and being one and understanding what goes on and knowing that. One of the things we talked about was you walk into a situation, and every situation is neutral. Not bad, good, it's just neutral
Until.
until you decide what it's going to be. And those are the moments when you kind of go, okay, this is why I'm doing the business. Is-
Well, it shows on screen.
Aw.
It really
It really does.
It's true. It's
It
true.
really does.
Yeah.
For you
Yeah.
two in
Yeah.
particular.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Oh,
No. We were.
we were in sync.
Yeah, we were in sync.
We connected
Yeah.
like the first day. We
the first
just-
day.
You'd
And-
not
Just
met
beautiful.
before, had you?
No.
That's
but
quite
I wanted
remarkable
to.
because
But you
both of
know,
them in the business a minute.
And I mean, I knew of him.
Yeah, I knew of her,
obviously,
too.
You know,
I
I,
know,
was
you
like
know.
a huge fan and super nervous when I first met you. You know, I was
were
trying
so
to be,
cute.
I was
She
trying
was
to be
so
calm,
cute,
and I was
too.
like, go, 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 go.
Were you?
You went. Yeah. She was like.
You just done the
It's very
season
nice.
with
It's very
Patrick.
nice to meet you.
I know, right?
Very nice to meet you. But I'm a fan.
I geeked out.
Perfect,
I geeked out. And he was so good.
And it was, and you just,
And you know it.
very
You can-
rarely,
you-
very
yeah.
rarely. I mean, I knew of her. I knew that she was, a lovely actor and really beautiful. And then sometimes you have this image of people, and you get to the set and it's not
Not the same.
Right.
Oh,
Yeah.
God, no.
You just
That's
kind
the
of, you
worst.
guys know. You just kind of go,
Yeah.
Jesus.
God.
Yeah,
So this
right?
is going to be a
So
long 3
disappointing.
weeks. Or,
Yeah.
this
And so
is gonna be a-
disappointing
yeah.
when that happens.
Yeah,
you
it
know?
is.
It's very
It
disappointing.
really is.
Yeah, totally.
You know?
I've arrived
It makes
on
it hard
set
to see
and-
them their work after that. I
It is.
find, you
And
know.
so,
Yeah.
and
They
so
won't
we,
meet your eye. They won't shake hands. They won't say good morning.
I mean,
I don't want to come around your house, honey.
you know, right? I'm not. It's not about that. We're on the
You know.
same set right here.
Yeah.
and there's no need for that. I'm sorry. There's
Yeah.
just no need for that.
It's
We're
weird,
not-
isn't
we're
it?
not
And
curious.
it
It
comes
is.
from their own insecurities, I must say.
It
Doesn't matter
totally
how
is.
famous they think they are.
100%. I think so.
Totally
Yeah,
is.
I think
It has
It's their own
nothing to
nonsense.
do
Yeah.
with you.
Yeah.
It has
Listen,
nothing to do with you.
you
But
know-
anyway,
And that's what you must
that's
stay
what I
neutral.
wanted. That's why I wanted to get that out because I
Aw.
was never able
well,
to.
Thank you,
bless me.
Michael. I adore
So,
you so
no,
much.
It
You
leaps
know
off the
that.
screen.
You know that.
Yeah,
It
we
truly
were
does.
we were very happy about that.
We
you know.
we would be very happy to do more.
I know there should be an
Just
offshoot.
saying.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Couple of
Just put it
times.
out there.
Nah, not
Just
gonna-
more in whatever scenario. That's
Yeah.
our own
Well,
projects.
we're going to do that.
We are.
We're
so
going to do that. We have
you know,
we have a project that.
It's really good.
That's we're working on and
Yeah.
almost finished. I thought I was going to bring it.
Is,
today, but-
is this the Western you were mentioning?
No, this is
You've
the
just done one, haven't you?
yeah.
know,
This
I
is the this is a sci-fi
Ah,
because
really good.
we know it's very difficult to get projects done.
Yeah.
But if you do a small project, take it to the festivals, people see it. That's a way
your
to
calling
get.
card.
It's your calling
Yeah.
card.
To get it.
And also, sci-fi is our
is our genre.
Yeah.
genre.
It's
Full
our
length?
bread and butter.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Sci-fi is our genre. This is, and so I decided to get Marina and Michelle and myself, and the three
for
of
you.
us.
I mean,
You
all
know,
right, that's
in,
a
in
good
a,
cast.
in a room this big.
Yeah.
You know,
I
one
just
of those
saw
things.
that 28 years later, it's the sequel to 28 Days,
Days,
Later.
Yes.
Shot that thing on an iPhone.
Yeah.
The whole
No kidding.
Did they really?
movie.
28
Yeah.
years later, I have to check it. And
Oh, well, they were just talking about that, and it went well, went great.
Yeah.
We're really happy with it. It's extraordinary what you
What
can
we
get
could do now.
done.
That's right.
So you don't have a
I can't even send a
any.
text.
You don't have any budget.
Yeah, you don't have any budget. You know.
you can
So,
still get
but
it done.
interestingly enough, everybody's come out of the woodwork a little bit. The
Mm-hmm.
people that we used to work with, Chris and Jonathan West, and
Yeah.
just a bunch of people have.
You going to
said,
pay them?
Huh?
You going to pay them?
Of course.
Good man.
Of
right.
course. No,
we paying
this
them?
is
these are professionals here.
no, this is
Real deal.
So when do you start that then?
probably the beginning of the year.
Yeah.
It looks like.
Did you write the script?
Yeah, it's
Good
all.
for you.
It's a few pages
right.
from being done.
Had you written before?
Yeah, this Western
is-
I wrote,
yeah.
and I wrote a sitcom, and I wrote
It's pretty prolific, this man right here.
Yeah.
a movie about Maria Callas.
Oh, wow.
Really?
And he flies planes. I mean,
flies
come on
Planes,
now.
right?
Do you still fly?
Oh yes.
Yeah. You rent a plane to fly now?
No, I have one.
What do you have?
It's a Piper Malibu.
I don't know what that is. Is it a two-seater? Is that a
It's a six-seater.
six-seater?
Single
Where
engine,
we going?
goes up high. The lady from
I could have sworn the last time we saw each other, you said no, you've gotten rid of all the planes. Is
yeah.
this, is
Well,
this a new
it was
third season?
I had,
only
but I
for a
was just
moment.
waiting. I was just
called third
waiting.
He had, and it was not like he was
Now,
done.
who's
That's right.
the lady on?
right.
Oh God, she's going to kill me for this. On Brave New Worlds, Strange New Worlds. Haircut.
Navia, Melissa.
Navia. She's been flying
She's
with
terrific.
me.
She flies.
Oh, really?
She
No
did.
kidding.
Yes, she did.
Wow.
Had a little moment because we're flying, and all of a sudden there's like a little puff of smoke of the glare shield, and she goes, "Do you smell that?" I said, "Yeah, I do."
Oh my God.
And I went, "Oop, there's a little puff of smoke," and
Oh.
we were like, "I think we're gonna land."
Yes, yeah.
And luckily, we were very close to an airport, so we came in and landed. And
What was it?
It was just a wire had gotten hot,
Wow.
and we checked it out. It wasn't anything.
A little whoops in the air is not something I really
Whoops,
want to
that
go
sentence
through.
right there.
I
Whoops in the air.
I do
I-
not
not so
trust
much.
my luck.
I kind of like it. Yeah, you know what? Because they train you for that stuff. In fact, I had a Chuck Yeager moment where I was flying an F-86, swept wing,
Proper, yeah.
jet, and I'm
Yeah.
flying around. I'm doing all kinds of stuff, and all of a sudden the engine quits.
Oh my God.
Quits.
You're just hanging there. About to,
No, your engine quits, and so they teach you. You set up a glide speed for 180 knots, and you start looking around.
for where you
place
might
to
put this
land.
Where
thing.
you're going to put
Wow.
it. And luckily, Palmdale was right in front of me.
Wow.
And so I called and I said, I'm coming in. And even if it's a military field, if you declare an emergency, you're.
Yeah.
Right.
They have
So I
to.
come in and waited till I got close, put the gear flaps, landed, pulled off the
You just
runway.
glided
oh my
in.
God.
Fucking
So
high five,
calm.
man.
I mean, this one.
It
Oh.
was- it was-
cute
Look, we're all like flop
I know.
sweat
It was-
right
it was
now.
Did
such
they teach
a-
you how to kiss your butt goodbye in training?
Just lean between your legs.
he got up.
Yeah, right.
But no, I came in
That's
and
amazing.
hopped out, and it was those days when we were working, and so the guys come over with the trucks, and they go, "What's the problem?" Because I said, "Well, the engine," and the guy goes, "Well, you're Michael Dorn." So,
Still the engine, still.
Yeah.
anyway,
Anyhow.
enough about that.
No, it's fantastic.
But anyway, no. So that's what I'm working on now, and as soon
Yeah.
as I finish it, we're going
Very
to
excited.
find a place to shoot it. It's gonna-
Exciting.
it's going to
Yeah.
be very, very claustrophobic and
That'll be
a
great with
character
Marina.
study.
God
Which is
bless.
perfect.
Oh
yeah.
yeah. Oh, it's a great part, and a great part for her too. I mean, and so that's my passion right now, and that's what I'm doing. But hopefully,
Love that.
if that happens, we'll get some buzz.
Yeah.
And then we'll do the Western.
Are you going to
Yeah.
finance it yourself, or are you
This
gonna,
one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you are. Good for you. You've just done a Western.
I sure did.
You did in Montana, right?
That's right.
Yeah. Well, tell us about that a bit.
It's
you
based
talk
on
about
a
it?
book. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
based on a series of books called "Where the Wind Blows,"
Right.
by
This time of life.
Fife, right? Cynthia Fife. Cynthia. Oh, I'm so sorry, my dear.
I hate these
By a
things.
phenomenal author who I met and am friends with.
This is going very, very
It's going
well.
terrible. This is that age. I
Close
didn't have
friends.
coffee. But there's 3 books, and I play Miss Hollyhock, and it's a very fun. It was actually an interesting thing. They were about to shoot, and they had not been able to cast this one part, and it's a director and a producer I had worked with before. And they said, Michelle, would you, are you available? Would you do this? The character's written older, but we'll skew it. And I was like, cool, whatever. And what I found was so interesting about a character that was written older is that she was brave and unbridled and not held back by anything. Do you know what I mean? How fucking interesting is that?
Yeah,
right.
How interesting, She had a big, broad voice. She enters into a room. She owns her
Owns it,
space.
right.
She has huge love to give, a huge life to share and partake.
And it's a proper Western.
And it's a proper Western, the whole thing. I had a horse and buggy. I got the, corset, the petticoats, the whole thing, sweating up
100 degrees.
I did like 4 different indies this summer, and every place I was, it was like over 100 degrees outside. Why?
Yeah.
Why? But
Well,
it was
the money,
really
of
super,
course.
Of course, exactly. But it was super fun because I actually have never done a Western because you don't usually get to do Westerns when you look like this in our industry.
No,
And I
right.
was going to say that, one of the reasons that there wasn't that much, equity in the HMU when Dorn was working on his earlier shows is that in 2024, just now, in New York and Louisiana, it's just now mandatory to study ethnic hair to get your certificate in cosmetology.
No kidding.
That's
Just now,
Really?
in 2 states.
Isn't
Hi,
that partly,
New York.
in 2 states.
2 states, New York and Louisiana.
Isn't that partly a credit to you?
Well,
Yeah.
myself and SAG-AFTRA have really pushed
Yeah.
for. Thank you for saying that. But yeah, we've really pushed hard about that. I won't be silent. I'm very loud about it because I
Right.
don't get that. I don't understand that. I know that when I'm in a room where there's people of color in the HMU, every single hair follicle is taken care of. Every single ethnic hair and not ethnic hair. Every single hair follicle is taken care of. Not so the other way. So, why would what's the deal? What's the
Yeah,
problem
exactly.
here? Let's just
They
open
can't-
that
they-
door, bring
they-
everybody in, and
They
everybody will
can't
be taken
find
care of.
any. There's no.
Yeah, there's none.
Is that the?
Oh,
is
and that was the other
usually
thing.
the comeback? Is
Yeah,
Oh,
that's
I
what they
had.
told
They've
her.
told me.
Yes,
They
isn't
told
it?
me that they
I'm going-
didn't. They couldn't find anyone.
Oh,
I was
it
like,
just-
let me
it
just take out a
it gets me.
list here.
It boggles your
and,
mind.
And one of the other things
it's-
that
oh.
Michael just said, after I got those people on that, and he was taken care of. But I also want to say that when somebody, I'm on the call sheet. I'm going to be taken care of no matter what. I'm fighting for the people who are not on
Right.
the 1, 2, 3, 4,
Not
5.
on the-
Yeah.
I'm fighting for the stand-in, for
Yeah.
the stand-ins, for the
Yeah.
day
Extras,
players, for
yeah.
the extras,
Yeah.
for our background artists. Because, and I say this all the time, even in the whitest script that you could possibly ever make, this, in this modern day, there's still going to be someone of color somewhere in that script, even if it's the background. So it behooves producers to have someone who is capable to be in that HMU to take care of our
I
artists.
just don't understand.
Especially
it.
in the
It's-
age
it's
of,
lazy.
I'll put it in quotes, diversity.
Yes.
Well,
yes, put that in
they
quotes.
said that same thing to me on a show. I won't bore you with the details, but a show that I did up in Canada, and they said the same thing. Oh, we
It's-
couldn't find any. And I went,
Let me help
I
you.
know two.
Exactly.
right
Let me
now.
help you right now.
And that was 98, 99.
2024.
And 2024, they
still
said
doing
that to
this.
her.
That's right.
I couldn't
And I-
couldn't believe
is.
it.
And it is
galling.
lazy.
It
That's
is.
what I was going to say. It's not legitimate. It's lazy.
It's you're only looking at
Yeah.
your Rolodex.
Yeah.
Expand your Rolodex.
Right. Right.
That's all.
Yeah.
Right.
That's
So,
all.
and even just ask me. I mean, do
wait.
you know anyone?
Yes.
Yes, I do.
Yes. Just
Yeah.
ask the actor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to talk about your time on Picard together because the duet was fantastic.
Sure
Did
was.
you know? I'm trying to think back. Did you know that he was your handler when you were ramping up to meet him, as it were? Did you?
Well, Terry told me.
Oh, he
yes,
did.
Yes.
Yeah. So the
Yeah.
reveal,
Which
yeah.
was like
That
made
must have
me
been-
so happy. I was so excited about the the visible reveal during
Right.
that fight scene when he was going to come out, and
It was the best.
yes, that was so good. And all of a sudden you
Stunts
realize you're like,
were-
oh my god, it's Worf,
Yeah.
yeah.
What's
And
the name of the stunt guy? Frank? Is it Frank Guns?
Guy
Gonzalez?
Fernandez and Matt
Mullins.
Mills. Yes,
Yeah,
exactly.
they really did some
They
amazing.
sure did.
Because
That's right.
Worf is, he's through the years, through the decades, he's always played like he's got everything taped and measured out and knows exactly where it is, and he hasn't really. And this third season of Picard was, him querying, what he thought he knew, what he doesn't
Yeah.
know.
Yeah. And I always wanted him to be on a journey, to be
Yes.
learning, and not so nationalistic, and not so not so Klingons are the best. You kind of go, God, no, they're not. And the Klingons are more loyal. No, they're not really. They're kind of dicks.
At least the ones at the conventions are.
Oops.
I just lost the whole pack of them. Sorry, guys.
But they, so and I like what they did. The only thing that, and I got to say that I watched some of Picard before before we started working.
You did.
But the part that the other guy, the young guy with this, he has a sword, and I didn't clue in that maybe Worf shouldn't have a sword.
Elnor,
Maybe
I see, yeah.
maybe he should be like he doesn't need a sword.
Right.
Hand to hand
That's
only.
interesting.
Oh yeah. And
interesting.
maybe he's not killing people. Maybe he's just
Right.
maybe he's just
He's really.
Talking them to death.
talking to
Sit down. Let me
lulling
talk to
them
her.
into a false sense of security. Or he just incapacitates them.
Right. Right.
Doesn't kill them.
Right.
Anyway, but
Sort of like
that's-
the growth of the samurai.
exactly. I'll hit you with the back of the blade.
Right.
Right.
And not the thing. So, but overall, it was the best experience.
Yeah,
I mean,
you were
I think-
enamored. Do you think
First
are they going to
contact
come back?
was-
They're not, are they?
No.
No, I think no. I know Terry's moved
Don't say
on,
no.
hasn't he?
Don't say no. You never say never. with
Right.
Star
Well,
Trek.
you know what? I'm sorry. You're right.
Right? Decades later, you're
You never know.
You
you
never
never
know.
know.
But it seems like
Yeah.
that ship has sailed just because they're doing so,
So
much
many
other
other
stuff.
things.
Yeah, they are, aren't they?
Yeah.
Yeah,
And they've
they
got
got-
a new show in production.
They got a new
already.
show. They
Yeah,
got
new series.
Terry's moved on
Yeah.
to Marvel.
Yes.
you know.
Good on him.
what's the
Federation Academy.
It's the
Starfleet
Academy.
Academy.
Finally, the Starfleet Academy.
Yeah.
Which that's been in the makings for
For a
20,
period of
30
time.
years.
They got a couple
Long
of big
Yeah.
actors in it, don't they?
We were meant
It's,
to be in that.
Holly, isn't
really
it Holly
big
Hunter and
Holly Hunter and Paul
Paul
Giamatti.
Giamatti, who apparently is a huge Star Trek
Really?
fan.
Yep, just heard about that.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Wow.
You just kind of go,
We want to get him on the show.
really? Yeah.
Yeah.
Did what happened with the whole Section 31 show? Is that just
That's a
shelved?
film,
movie.
isn't it?
It's
And
a-
it's
it's a
done.
movie.
It's
Yeah.
done, and
I know
we're
the
just
young
waiting
man
for it to
that
come
was that brought that idea to them, and we went out for dinner, and I didn't. Anyway, I did.
You didn't get
my
any-
name came up and got chucked out summarily. So good luck with it.
right. You're like, great.
No, Reed was never mind.
Yeah.
No, but that should be coming out at some point. soon,
Yeah,
'cause it's all
yeah.
done. They
but
finished that.
there's but you're right. You
never know.
say never.
You never
I
know.
mean,
I would be so happy.
I was totally surprised and caught off guard when they called us for Picard.
Who were you?
That was just like, huh? You know?
Who rang you? A manager or who? Did you get a personal call or was
No,
it?
no. My agent called first and said, "Hey, Michael, they want to do Star Trek this Picard season." I went, "Really?" They go, "Oh,
Does
yeah."
Patrick know?
Yeah, he knew, and he wasn't happy about it.
Yeah, that's what I heard.
Yeah, but
Did he warm to the idea eventually?
you know, I don't know. I don't know. I know the start of it. You know how it happened from the very beginning of Picard.
from the first season.
From the first
Right,
season,
yeah.
that it was
was a specific
supposed to
thing that
be
he- yeah.
non-next generation.
Right. He wanted it completely different from anything. Yeah.
I do know that.
Yeah, I remember.
And then when this came about, there was some talk that he and I had, and he was like, you know, this should have been this and should have been that. And I think that was the issue that it would probably. Now I don't know. This is speculation.
Yeah.
That it probably was. The decision was taken out of his hands. And
It
that-
wasn't performing well, as it were, in terms of numbers and fan, noticing. And yeah, it's a tough one for an actor. That,
Oh.
Yeah.
I'm sure he wanted to be the bona fide lead of a new show with a satellite cast around him, like
And he still was.
yeah, he
He's
was.
still-
it was called Picard.
Yeah.
Hamlet,
But
Hamlet.
God bless, the chemistry came together, the alchemy came together, and that third season
Yeah.
is a standalone season in the
that's
canon, as they
Terry-
call
Terry
it,
Matalas.
of this
yeah.
franchise,
It
and
was-
it's
He OG Star
yeah,
Trek.
it's,
he
it's
knew
brilliant
that.
stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It
I mean,
really is.
like I said, and all of us in the room know business affairs.
Yeah.
And they were like going, "We want you to do an episode like this and this," and I just went, "No, that's not the way it is
That's right.
in the SAG world."
Right.
And they said, "Well, we're not going to do it," and they yelled and screamed and called me a bunch of names, and then I saw Terry on the set, and we were talking about something else, something, and I go, he says, "Michael, we got to do that reveal." I go, "You're right."
Yes.
And so I go, "Okay, this is what we're going to do. If we're going to do this, I'll
so
do
good.
it, but I'll do it on the day that I'm already working, because it's just one little."
Right.
pop.
Right.
And he goes, "Okay." And I said, "Then nobody has to know. It has to be a secret in terms of the reveal."
Right.
He says, "Okay." And then I said, he says, "What else?" I said, "Well, I want a scene
Yes,
where I
it's-
kick ass.
That's right.
Like
That's right.
10 guys."
That,
And well, they wrote the scene, but it didn't really, what's a word for it? It didn't fit.
I was gonna say, yeah.
And I went, this fits better with Rafi, Rafaela. And he goes, yeah, it does. And they wrote this just brilliant thing. For
Oh, is
her.
where I
that how
got
the
my
fight scene
fight.
came? It came out of it came out of another idea.
Another idea.
Oh wow,
Yeah, because Terry said, "Hey, what about?" I said, "It's perfect."
Yeah.
that's great.
Great.
Because it
Grateful.
really showed
Grateful.
it showed her evolution
Yes.
into even more of a killer.
Right.
You
And
know
you get to see why she was part of
why
the
she was part
Yeah.
of
Federation
exactly.
in the first place.
And I just
Yeah.
went, and I am one for like, well, that's a better idea. You know, I'd like to see that. You know, and but he had come to me with this. He said, Michael, what do you think about, I'm going to do this, and I get, I don't. That's fine
That's
with
clever
me.
stuff.
Yeah.
Because it does explain.
I mean, he wasn't asking
especially
for-
after her demise
Yes.
into her drugs and
Yes.
her
Because she was
sickness.
this important, and then
Yeah.
she, and then to be.
And he
able to
wasn't.
come
He
through
wasn't
that.
asking for my permission.
He was just
he
sharing
just
with
knew
you.
that
Yeah.
that this was gonna and I go, yeah, you bet, so but it was amazing.
That was and our director, female
Didn't you
director,
do it
Rebecca. One take. Well, not one take, but one no
Continuous.
cuts.
One
no
pass.
cuts.
Oh,
yeah.
brilliant.
We took it. And in fact, I
Continuous.
think we only did like a couple of takes.
Did
though.
you
We
really?
didn't- yeah, it wasn't. We didn't. And that one, I have to say, we did after we had taken our first Christmas break. We, because we ended up doing second season and third season together because we had that pause after some COVID, and I think we literally had a week between second season and third season. So no breaks whatsoever, and then finally Christmas come around. We all sort of went, our separate ways, and came back, and I got COVID first
did?
time. Yes, I got COVID.
On
And I
set
got-
or off set?
Offset, of
No
course,
kidding.
because we were tight on set.
Right.
And I
Did you
got
get that
long
in New York?
In New York, yes.
You got long
I got long haul.
Oh,
Yes, so I said to Matt and to Guy, I knew that Rebecca wanted to shoot this as a oneer, and I said, can we just start as soon as I get back? Can we just start rehearsing? Because I need to work up my stamina to be able to do that. And you guys, it was crazy because I'm an athlete.
you're
I've
pretty
always been an
strong.
athlete my entire life, and there would be moments where just doing the first couple of moves, I'd just be like, okay, huffing and puffing.
Just the fatigue of.
Just the fatigue. But it was, those guys and the stunt team was just phenomenal with me because they had so much patience and so much grace. And they were like, Michelle, we'll be here every single day. I showed up when I wasn't working. We rehearsed multiple hours every day until I got to do the whole thing without huffing and puffing. And we were like, okay,
That's,
we're
pretty
good.
impressive.
I was standing outside the hallway, and all I heard was go shit, walk, and stuff was flying and hitting the and she was it was just amazing. It was just a brilliant thing.
How long did the long haul COVID last?
I want to say a couple months, because when it first hit, it's amazing, and I hope we all realize that that's a real thing, because there was literally moments where I would just be on the couch and I'd see my husband, and I'd just see him walking by, and I remember thinking like, oh, I don't know how he's doing that. Like I have
No kidding. Just
no
walking
kidding,
by.
just walking by, and it's absolutely physical, and then there becomes a psychological thing, and you just start to go like
Especially
that.
for someone that's been athletic.
Oh, my
and
goodness.
fit.
And
I
I
got
could
walking
not
pneumonia when we were doing our show. and
It's
God.
awful.
it took me to
And
my knees
frightening.
every day for
Yeah.
Oh, my
months. It
God.
went on.
Oh, because
For how long? A
pneumonia,
month?
For months.
It gets in there
I
and
mean,
you're
literally 3 to
weakened.
5 months. It was, I was
awful.
depressed. I remember doing a stunt scene with that, and it was like, oh my god.
It's amazing, and you do get depressed, and we're
Yeah.
not depressed people, and it
Yeah.
really hit me.
And there
But,
wasn't
yeah.
a sort of, the culture on set was suck it up, big boy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Rub some dirt on it.
Yeah.
That's right. You're okay.
some
That's
rubber
right.
dusting on it,
That's
kid.
right.
Rub some
There you go.
Oh, you're fine. Get back on your
Dirt's
bike.
good for it.
Dirt cures everything.
That's right.
Dirt cures everything.
Would you ever play another character in Star Trek?
I don't think that's possible.
It's probably not.
I mean, if I had a choice,
Yeah, if you had
Yeah.
a choice.
no.
No.
I mean, I there's sometimes you think the only character is Data. If I had a chance to play him, but I wouldn't. The thing is that we didn't have a choice about how to play him.
Right.
Really, I mean, I think Brent played him like he wanted to play him like that, but the makeup and this and that and all that
Dictates a lot, doesn't it?
dictates
Yeah.
a lot. Yeah, and you know, I had thought about that, and then I said, nah, you know, it's because I wouldn't want to play him as a android. You know, like I'd want to play him like nobody could tell.
Oh, really?
Right, like an
Yeah.
advanced one, like a
Right.
really-
Like yeah, nobody could tell.
Right,
I
right.
mean, he comes in and he's a robot. He's an android. Everybody knows, and you know, and all this. And I would have wanted to do that, and so because of that,
Like
I
real
kind of
AI, as it
Real
were.
AI,
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
like nowadays.
Right.
but no, there really wasn't another character that I wanted to play. You know, I liked what they did with their characters, and I wouldn't. But no,
You only played Worf for 11,000 episodes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Aren't you like one of the most?
He is the most.
The most.
Yeah.
That's right.
280
Woo!
hours.
Wow.
I think that's what it is.
That's a lot of Worf.
That's a lot.
And that's triple the hours of getting ready
Five-
for it,
Yeah,
right?
right.
Triple.
Do you know?
Yeah. And 5 movies.
Wow. Pretty cool.
That's not bad
That's
at all.
pretty
Not
cool.
bad.
Yeah.
Somebody asked me.
So you've still got health insurance.
I got to pay for it.
Yeah.
You do now, I know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you have to, you know,
kidding.
no matter what comes in.
Yep.
Yeah. But somebody asked me early on about, you know, what would you feel like if you were typecast in science fiction? You know, and I said, you know what? I said, I love science fiction my
Yeah.
whole life.
Bring it
You know.
on.
In fact, at the Saturn Awards, they had this movie that they gave a award to, Invaders from Mars, the 50s version. And I'm going, I remember that movie.
That's right.
My brother watched that, and I watched that movie. And so that's what come to pass. I've been doing this for 30-something years.
Bless
It
me.
worked out.
Amazing.
It worked,
out
really
for him.
well.
Yep.
It's not doing too bad.
Yeah. And like I said, the Picard thing was sort of like the icing on the cake.
Just a little gift. Yeah, a little cherry.
Yeah,
Just
that
a
final
little-
scene, I mean, it's just very moving, isn't it?
Oh, it's great.
Which one?
The poker scene when it pulls out at the end and
Yeah.
harks back to
Yeah,
times when...
I you know, my favorite ending scene was with Rafa.
Yeah.
Rafaela.
Right.
That was my, because that was
Yeah.
sort of, you know, when all the stuff was down, you know, and you know, all the blustering and everything was down, and we were just, you know, talking to each other.
And Worf hugged someone, initiated
Yes.
a hug. That's huge.
Yeah.
A hug. I know, and you kind of went, what? I love that because you were like, what do I do with
Right.
this?
Do I,
It was
I don't
so
want to
good.
shake
It
him
was
out of
so
this
good.
spell right now.
Was it scripted that you called her Rafaela, or was that
No.
No,
And I love it.
I wondered.
It's the only person who calls her
yeah, that he
Rafaela.
was so proper. I like
so
that.
good.
Yeah.
Well, you know, his sort of how he began was kind of that kind of proper. And Gene came to me one day at I think the 3rd episode and said, you know, we got to do something about your voice. I go, like what? And my voice was like this. And he goes, well, you know, you sound too American. And so I said, okay. And I went away and I came back with 3 different choices. And the one
Did you
that
go to your wardrobe?
That's right. That's right.
and
There was Meryl Streep.
and the Worf was sort of you know, gruff and surly in English, but it wasn't dialect, but just sort of the very proper. And
Right.
he goes, "That's the one."
Nice.
I got okay.
God bless Gene.
I know, right?
Oh,
Yeah.
he just knew.
Sometimes it takes that the producer or you sort of often are stupefied that it is the producer that they have that vision that an
Yeah.
audience can. As actors, we can get too muddled in
Yeah.
the weeds of acting it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And sometimes it takes just.
Well, he came from a generation of guys that really, and when I first got in the business, they were prolific.
Prolific?
Prolific, thank you. Of these guys who had been in the business for a long time, and just who knew.
They've been around.
They knew. You know, you just say,
Yeah.
"Hey, what about this?" And they go, "Okay, do that." You go, "Oh,
Yeah.
shit, that's right." You know,
Right.
and
They
you,
were
you know,
creatives. We had creatives
Oh,
in our
they just
industry,
were-
not
Right.
Wall
Yeah.
Street.
and like,
What an
and
interesting
for him to
concept.
say, you know, like, and if you ever, you got to watch a documentary that Shatner did, and it's a recent one, And it's very good because everybody that he talks to kind of said that Gene was kind of wacky doodle. You know, and you know how it is when people kind of rewrite history.
Sure. Yes.
Well, you know, I came in and I changed this, and when I came in, you know, Gene was this, you know, you know, and it's all of these things that, you know, well, he wanted to do this, and I didn't think it was should do this, so we, you know, I mean, everybody
Got their say on it.
Right.
and they're the
Making their mark
reason
on it.
that it,
Yeah.
And at the end of it, Shatner's standing in front of Paramount, and he goes, yeah, and here we are, and he names off Emmy Awards
Yes.
and Oscar Awards and the shows that it spawned and all of these things like this major. He goes, not so wacky doodle after all.
That's right. That's right.
And that was sort of how I took it, is that, you know, this was a smart guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He knew television. He knew how to do it, you know.
And you know, that's the thing. I don't know if everybody realizes that actors, we love having that kind of somebody else, like what you just said, know something more. I'll speak for myself.
Smarter than,
Do you know what I mean?
Smarter than I am.
Like I remember in the first season with Michael Chabon, and we were shooting the scene with Santiago where he does the 5 hollows, right? And I was having this issue with this one line, and I came over to Michael and I said, Michael, I'm confused, because if I say it this way, you know, this doesn't track. If I say it this way, it doesn't track. What was it that you were trying to say? He goes, oh no, Michelle. Oh, it's completely different than that. And I loved that.
Yeah.
I loved that, because I'm on set in my costume. I'm in real time, and I've just been given new information.
Right. And
That's
help.
like help, and that's a smorgasbord
you go,
for an actor.
Oh, good, thank you.
Yeah,
Yes,
right.
and also, oh, good, thank you, because that wasn't tracking. You know, we love getting that kind of new insight to something, and you know, like as an actor, I want my fellow actors to be better than me, because I want to rise to the occasion. I want to be challenged. I want you to know more than me, so I can go, oh my, how did you? All right. Oh, I see what we're doing now.
Right,
Okay, let's do it. You know.
You learn as we all do. You know, when you talk to a producer, director, or you know,
Yeah.
and you ask them those questions, you see immediately. Oh God.
Yeah.
Right. You know who you're. Yeah.
Oh
Right.
boy.
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know,
yeah.
This is not going to be.
Right.
Because you see their faces go, you know, and they start looking, and but you learn that the really good directors and the really good writers and the really good producers know.
They know,
I
and
mean,
they love
you ask them a question,
They love
they
it.
have the answers.
Yes.
Right.
And or this one director I work with, she's passed away now, Gabrielle Beaumont, English, won an Emmy for directing Hill Street Blues.
Okay.
But Terry Farrell and I were going, you know, we got this thing. Can we want to try something? And instead of going, no,
Right.
or yeah, you know, she said, show me.
Yeah.
And you go, great.
cool.
And even if she says, no, you
Right.
know, at least you've gotten
Yes.
me. And that's
Also, there's always something from it. Even if it's no,
Yeah.
there's something that you get something from it,
Yeah.
even just having
or they'll
done
say,
it.
Right.
or they'll say, you know, yeah, do that, but you
yes.
go, oh, yeah.
yeah.
And
Yeah,
and you
exactly.
But you know, you just don't get that these days.
No, often you don't. I mean,
Not
the
often,
directors
no.
these days are so interested in the shot they're trying to figure out. That
Please don't talk about
There's
directors.
barely any talk about what's being shot.
Yes.
Please
yes.
don't talk about directors.
Ooh, that's such a.
Do you notice being directed by an actor that's had an acting past, rather than a director that's just come?
I'm
from
sorry?
the
What?
Like
Do you
you're
notice the difference
being
in
directed
the
by
language,
actor directors.
in the?
I like being directed by actor directors.
I'm
Although
trying
I
to
have to say,
think-
there's every now and then you find one actor director who wants to talk a little bit more about the character and all that stuff than is necessary. You know, you're like, I'm so glad that you've invested in my character, but I'm going to do some work as well. So
Exactly.
thank you so much.
I've been fortunate that the actors that only a couple
Yeah.
that I've worked with, not just because I haven't worked with that many that did the transition, they kind of talk in shorthand to you.
Yes.
And they kind of go, you know, okay, thanks. And they'll won't even finish the sentence.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
they'll
yeah,
walk
'cause we all
away
know.
because,
Right.
you know.
Yeah.
You get it. The only guy that was, everybody had a chance to direct on our show. Jonathan was the first, and then LeVar. And LeVar was very serious.
Ooh, I bet.
He was like, Michael, no.
No,
That's very good.
no what? No what? Why?
Just no.
I didn't ask.
That's
I didn't
right.
ask
That's
why
right.
for him because he could hurt me. He has his little bitty fist and
His little
punch
bitty
me
fist.
between my.
His perfect little fist.
And Patrick was, for all of his, acting stuff. He was very much sort of more, bigger, more smoke, and more this.
No, of course, I
and,
can
you know,
see that.
And there was a couple of days where Brent and I had some bad behavior. Bad behavior.
Really?
And
You and Brent?
Yeah, he forgave us, like, I think in 2012.
Did you take the Mickey out of him? You mean?
No, he had a scene that should have been 20 minutes, and it was about 2 hours because Brent and I just couldn't. Well, how can I put this? We thought we were the funniest things.
Well, I
Oh, yeah.
figured
Your
that.
corpsing, just
One of those moments.
cracking
One of
each other
those.
up.
No.
Oh,
This is funny.
no,
It's
it
not
wasn't. It wasn't. We'd walk into the scene, and we said, "Well, this is stupid,"
Oh dear.
and we started walking in as other,
my
like
God.
Germans,
That is. Oh dear.
English.
Take after take.
No,
burning
rehearsals.
money. Oh, rehearsals, right.
He couldn't get through. We'd walk in as English
Dreadful.
guys, Hello, we're looking for a woman, and we just were laughing and having a great time, and it was horrible.
Hilarious.
But the thing is that most directors that we worked with knew, and there was a couple that didn't like the attitude on the set because we were just having a good time.
You were a band of merry men, by then, weren't you?
Yeah,
Yeah,
and,
right.
and we
And
didn't
women.
waste time though. It wasn't like we were, we were always running late because we just wasn't that. It was just that between takes we were incorrigible.
Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? Because some people don't like any of that sort of,
No, they don't.
mucking about.
Well, it's also like now
And-
it seems tricky, like on some television shows, especially network stuff and some of our streaming platforms. I've experienced watching a director panic about getting the day.
Yeah.
Do you know? And
Yeah.
so they come to you in a more of a rushed sense of like, okay, so I want you two to stand there and you're going to do this. And yeah, okay. And there's not about anything about a rehearsal. There's not anything about like the character or the what and the where and the why. And what I find so interesting about that is that I'll witness this director panicking, trying to figure something out. And all I can think of is, all you have to do is talk to your actors.
Yeah.
Because we're super, great at solving problems.
Right.
And if you let us into this creative moment here,
Yeah, they don't think you're
you don't
gonna
have
get
to
it.
worry
I
about
know.
anything. And I've really been experiencing that a lot in some of the TV stuff. And it's just, it's too bad.
I
It's
think
too
that
bad.
panic just permeates through the set.
Yes,
and
yes.
If it gets inside the actors,
Yeah,
you aren't.
yeah.
But I think that's what they pay you for. They pay you to be able to
Navigate that.
navigate it and
that's exactly
and
what
get
I,
a
yeah.
performance.
That's
yeah.
exactly what I do. Yeah.
I mean, I'm going to this thing that I'm writing for us is going to be. I wrote it. I'm going to direct it and be in it, and the Western too, be in it, and yeah. I got in the business to direct.
Did you know?
Yeah.
Interesting.
I was in college, and my professors were all like, Michael, you got to direct, because I had done some projects, just in the studio, and they're, oh man, you got this, and so that's what I was going to school for,
Oh.
and I got waylaid into the acting thing.
I have to say, I'm a big
How'd that
fan
work
of,
out?
I'm a big fan of writer-directors.
Yeah,
There's something beautiful about being an actor on a set of a writer-director, because then in real time, you can be
Yes.
like, this feels whatever,
Exactly.
and the writer-director can be like, that's okay, we'll change that line, or whatever. I mean, and you know it. Any questions that I have, they know it. I mean, I love a writer-director.
I mean, there was a scene with this guy Bill Sadler, who was a wonderful actor, and he goes, Michael, I want to do it again, and I go, well, that one was really good, and he goes, well, I want to do it again. And I shouldn't say this, but I go, is it going to be better?
No pressure.
Yeah.
And he goes, yes. I said, okay, let's go.
Oh dear.
But yeah, no,
He's not
and
gonna
I
tell us
just
if it was better.
I was going through I was on the Mary Tyler Moore show as an extra.
Ah,
Getting Taft-Hartleyed.
I mean,
Taft-Hartley.
Oh, God bless.
That's right,
I Taft-Hartleyed on Frasier.
did you? That's
Taft-Hartley.
amazing.
Oh, yeah,
Amazing.
and there was a episode where I knew the assistant director. His son was a high school friend of mine, and so he said, hey, Michael, we'd love you to come. You can shadow. You can do the directing.
Oh, nice.
And then there was an actor that was on the show, John Amos, and he had to go to the hospital for something. And they said, would you stand in for him? Sure. And so I stood in and I read the lines, and I knew the actors. I'd been there almost 2 years. And so I was having a good time, and blah, blah, blah. And for the next 2 weeks, they said, you got to do this acting thing.
Oh.
You got to do it. And I went, and they said, well, if you can still make some money.
That's right. Pay your bills.
And of course that would, well, that's not a bad idea.
Yeah.
And so that
understand
sent me
that.
down the road. I went back to school and got into another acting class and I just took off, and that's why. But I'm glad I did, and I'm glad I waited until Deep Space to direct, because it's a tough. If you don't, like with
you're not
Roxanne,
prepped.
if you don't know all the politics and all the stuff that goes in, I'm great on the set,
Interesting.
but the politics is like,
Bonkers.
I don't get it. I just don't get it.
What's it like to direct yourself? Do you tell yourself not to say why?
Or do you ask yourself why?
No,
Question, sir.
that's the
Little angel
no.
comes up. Why, Michael?
Right.
Bad angel comes
Michael,
up.
I don't
Just
know.
do it.
And they're going, Michael's over
What's
there
happening
talking
with
to
Michael?
himself.
That's right. He's mic'd. I don't think he
gone
realized
crazy.
it.
I know. No, I got a call from Rick Berman, and he says, Michael, we like what you're doing, everything like that, but you're going to have to you have to stop giving yourself so many close-ups.
Oh, how funny.
Oh my God.
Oh, how funny.
I went, really? He goes,
Are you sure? I think I've given myself the proper amount
the
of
proper amount.
close-ups.
He goes, and it's true.
Had you really? Had you over compensated?
It's like, and now we're coming in. Let's.
Well, like somebody's, I'm talking in a scene and they all leave and it's written. I didn't do it. They're
The
written
camera
in.
moves
And then the
into
camera
the
comes
hero
in.
shot.
I think that's right. I think you were correct.
And then you say to Rick, I mean, come on.
Come on, the money.
What
Why
does
we
Wolf
not?
think?
And so
That's
was
hysterical.
but it was a great lesson. It was a
Yeah.
great lesson because you kind of get that. And I wasn't doing it because I wanted close-ups. It would just seem to be that
was
what
the correct thing
scene.
to do.
Right.
We should end here.
So-
What?
Right.
I'm sure it said somewhere.
I'm sure
It
so.
moves in on Wolf.
it's right.
But
It's
actually,
got to be there.
But not.
goodness.
It wasn't difficult at all. You
Yeah.
have a good stand-in. It was
That's right.
it was really easy. And Chris Crossgrove, having them as and Jonathan West as DPs were just
Sweet.
Oh, it was just fantastic. And
DP, man.
yeah.
That's
I went
big.
the sitcom in New York. The DP was just wonderful, and the
best.
crew was wonderful, and it was just a joy, and they would call all the directors Maestro. What would you like, Maestro?
Yes.
Sweet.
That's
Well, I'd
great.
like to have that, and they go, okay, no problem, and they would just
Love it.
Was it a 5-camera setup for the
Yeah.
sitcom? Live sitcom?
yeah.
Live audience?
It was Kelly
Right.
Ripa and Faith Ford.
Oh, yeah. That.
Oh,
And
right.
Ted McGinley.
Yeah. What
Had
was
you ever
that?
done anything like
Faith
this
and
before?
Hope.
There you go. That's right. Faith and Hope.
That's a lot to chew off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I had sort of come from that.
Right.
So it was like, and I just love it. I mean, I love the whole idea because you're doing a play every week.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
I love live sitcom. Oh, it's the
And
best.
and they were great, and they were, it was, and I had a blast. But the DPs were just,
That's the way to go. I mean,
Excellent,
a good
excellent.
DP. Woo.
and then I did VIP
Yes.
with Pamela Anderson.
That's right.
Right.
And once again, the producers and the DP were on your side,
Nice.
and it was just I had a great time.
My favorite thing about VIP, that show, was when you'd see these Pamela, and she'd be in like this tiny itsy bitsy, just a tiny itsy bitsy
Sure
little
enough.
dress or catsuit or whatever, and then she'd reach behind her and pull out like a huge machine
Yeah,
gun,
right.
and you'd be like, where'd that come from? Where did that come from?
So much fun. So much fun.
Don't ask. That's right.
Yeah.
Have
And,
you directed?
You know, I haven't directed. I was going to on Star Trek. Patrick actually spoke to me
Oh, on
about
Picard.
it. On first
Oh,
season.
wow.
And I was super excited about it. And then we got into COVID, and
that's-
you know, the whole thing of shadowing and all became too complicated because of all this stuff. And I was so frustrated because I love my crew. I love our crew. And I knew, and Patrick said it too. He's like, the crew loves you. You love the crew. This is your home, and this is the way to,
Yeah.
you know, do that sojourn into directing. And, you know, so just my next show will do, you know.
Yeah.
Just got to get on another one. So.
Right.
I was told that you came by no matter whether you were on set or not. If it was someone's show wrap, you'd be there to
I did.
say farewell.
She
friend.
was.
I
That's
did.
lovely.
Well, you know, it really has happened with. the
You're just
second-
too perfect.
Stop it. It happened with second season when I knew that my motley crew, you know, my little cast from the
Right.
first season, that everybody wasn't coming back, and you know, and I.
That must have been a tough.
It was really hard for
yeah.
me because I love this show so much. I love Rafi so much. I love everything that I've
You
gotten
guys
to
didn't know.
experience.
I mean,
and
they knew.
they didn't know until like the last couple of weeks, which I have to say, you know, first part of me, or about a month, and part of me is just like, that's so unfair. And then I kind of understand why, because when you find out that you're not coming back, you're kind of pissed. It's, you know,
Yeah.
it's annoying.
Yeah.
But I started doing that because I realized that I wasn't going to see these people that I love, you know, and
It's tough.
and then, you know, so I would come whether shooting or not, and I would just be there to clap them off and say some nice words. And then I remember third season, and the crew said to me, they're like, Michelle, you gonna keep doing that? And I was like,
I know.
oh,
You
yeah,
gotta-
I did.
yeah.
But you guys,
Are
you
you
got to
gonna-
remember, like, then the people who I'm clapping off are like LeVar and
Right.
Brent and Marina, and, you know, and I'm just like, you know, thank you so much for coming on my
36
show.
years.
For your, you know, it was such a trip, but then
36 years.
it was such a wild
Typical.
experience. But then I got to, you know, selfishly, I got to say thank you to them for the impact that they have given all of us for the decades of,
Jerry
you know,
came
performance.
too.
And then Jerry came on my last day.
Oh.
She showed up on my last day, which
Oh, that's,
And
which
that's the
I
thing.
mean-
you don't get that so much
don't.
anymore. You don't get that type
Yeah.
of individual
That's-
anymore.
yeah.
Which is too bad. But you know, life goes on. What are you going to do?
Yeah.
I hate to, you know, oh, in the old days, you know, but
I know.
but it was a different time. It was
Right.
a totally different time. I did my first Zoom audition,
Did you?
which is a
Did
new
you like
world.
it? I know now we have Zoom. Well, you
No,
have the
I've never done
option
a Zoom
of
audition,
Zoom
no.
audition. There's a new thing with our CBA, our collective bargaining agreement with casting producers, is that our casting, which I hope everybody knows this, casting is supposed to offer a Zoom option.
Right.
Yes, when you get an audition, they should have a Zoom option. If they don't, you ask for one. The only tricky part is that it's sometimes from the casting directors, first come, first serve.
Yes,
Yes.
So you're not
I've
going to get it.
encountered that.
Yes,
That's
so
what
that's
I've
it.
encountered
But
that.
do
Do you
still
have to-
do still ask though. Just ask because you
Okay.
should. But
You
what? how
first
was
come,
yours?
first serve,
First come,
where
first
you
serve.
have to
Yeah,
click in
literally.
early.
Well, no. It's literally like you get that audition. It says you can have it, you know, send in a self tape
Uh-huh.
or a first, you know, Zoom. Call your agent to say, I want to nab a Zoom slot because they could have 2 days of a Zoom
could
slot,
have 2
or they
days,
could have
yeah.
5 hours.
Right.
It's up to them. That's what
Yeah.
that's what they gave us, and that's
Right.
what we had to accept at this moment. There's always another negotiation coming up, but do that. Like if you get an audition and it doesn't say a Zoom option, call your agents and say, I would like a Zoom audition.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
the live audition's never coming back, is it?
You know,
It's
if you
just
think
gone,
about,
is it?
well, think about it.
I don't- well, I'm sorry.
Well, think about it. They for 2 years during pandemic, they closed down their offices and stopped paying rent for those.
Yeah.
They moved into their homes and they started to submit things through their own homes and do Zooms. The industry has not come back. 20% of our crews are only working right now. No production is not even back up. How can we push casting to start shelling out thousands and thousands of dollars to hold auditions in a rented space when they're not making any money. We all have to
Was that
sort of
always
think
on
of the
casting
business world.
to find that money, or was that not part of the production?
Well, casting would have their office.
Right.
Right.
Ah.
So they had their offices, right?
Yeah.
They had a
And they
casting
got
office
paid,
because
yeah.
they've
Yes.
been making money
Yeah.
on all the, decades
that
of
they
stuff
were-
they're doing.
yeah.
Then for 2 years, there was nobody coming in the room and no money coming in the rooms.
Right.
So why would they pay, if you think about New York, some people were paying like $8,000 a month for an office space without getting any income. I hear them. I totally understand that.
Yeah.
Of course. Why would you do that? Absolutely get rid of it. To make them get back in the room right now, we need production to happen so that they can make money again. So
Right.
I don't think it will ever come back to what it used to be. Mind you, a
Mm-hmm.
movie that I just did in the Anyone But You, there were some actresses that graduated from college in 2020. They have never
had
been
a
in the
real
room.
audition.
Never.
Yeah,
And they don't
that's
even see the difference. They don't understand they don't get why it's something that's to be missed. They love doing their self-tapes. They come with things that are just like,
Yeah.
it's
Right.
one little unit and they're
Yeah.
ready to go.
Right.
So they don't understand that. Like for us,
do it in the privy.
for all of us, I always say that my career, the fact that I've been my longevity in this has been because of my relationships with my casting directors.
Right.
I would
And
go into
you're in the
those
room.
rooms.
You're in the
Yes,
room.
I would
Yeah.
go into those rooms not for this job, but for this connection.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm going to do some good shit. Whether they like me or not, then I'll walk out,
Yeah.
drop my fucking sides in the garbage can, and leave. I don't even care to know whether I got that or not. But I tell you what, those casting directors will be like, that curly-haired girl.
Yeah.
She got something going on.
Yeah.
Let's call her in for something else.
file her away.
This one
don't
show,
have that
the
anymore.
producers were looking at this guy, and the writer wanted a particular guy, and he came in fabulous, and then another guy came in totally different.
Yes.
And all the people in the room said, "Oh my God, this guy is good." And we said, "What do you think?" And the writer said, "Well, I wrote it for this kind of guy, but we're going to give this guy up." And it was
About that.
Because it comes in.
Because it's in the room.
In the
Yeah,
room.
yeah.
And you
And-
have the interaction with the people. It's
well,
very,
the thing with the Zoom is
very
that,
frustrating.
and
Yeah, tell
we've
about
been
that.
this, we've
Are
done
you
this.
like this in the Zoom, or do you
Yeah.
show them full?
No,
I
you
mean,
don't.
Oh no, you just hear
your,
here.
Just your. Yeah.
But like when we did auditions and we come in there'd be a bunch of people, a bunch of guys look like us.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah. You'd know
And-
half of them.
Huh?
You'd know half
know
of
them.
them.
Oh,
You
of
know.
course,
Yeah.
And if one got the
they're
job,
here.
you
Yeah.
crossed his name off the list. Okay,
Because at least he's been.
He's out of the-
employed
he's
in-
out of
out of
the
the
running.
trenches.
That's right.
Right,
That's
right.
right. That's
And
right.
if you got a series, thank
Thank
God.
God. Now we can
Now
not have
we
to worry
can-
about him.
Now I can
Get
but,
mine. Yeah.
But you put in your name
Yeah.
in the Zoom, and you go into a slot, and they show the names, everybody,
So you see
and then at
everything.
the top of it, there's all the live feeds
So weird.
of the other actors
It's so weird. you
waiting
guys.
to go.
What?
It's so weird.
Yeah.
Oh,
wait-
so you see who's in the
Yeah.
wings, as it were. ready to
Yeah,
come on.
totally. And they're
And they're
all-
watching.
Yeah,
Yeah, because
they're
you're
watching
waiting.
you too.
Yeah.
You're now.
Everybody's seeing each other.
That's not distracting at all.
Not
What
at
are you
all.
talking about?
Not intimidating. Not
nothing
anything.
like that.
Super
I'm
fun.
sorry. I was
Super fun.
I was sitting there going.
I'm giving my best stuff, and you're
Right.
gonna nick it all.
Is that Bob?
Is he still alive? Holy shit, and
It's
and
crazy,
it's,
right? Yeah.
It is.
It's a little weird.
But
Yeah.
when you go do the actual audition and they say, Michael, we're ready, you're actually reading with somebody.
Yeah.
Right.
Uh,
Is it another actor they've got in?
No,
this
it's
is
like-
an assistant.
Yeah, the
And
casting
this was
director's
this was
assistant.
the one of the assistants, and,
So you're
and it
getting
went
that
fine.
somehow.
It went fine. No, it went fine. It just
Sometimes,
and then that was it, and it was just really bizarre.
I love it as you're about to
strange.
clear. All you mofos can leave the room.
That's right.
Or is there some way that you could hack into their,
yeah.
Right,
to
like
their,
still be like an invisible ear. Yeah.
or put
yeah.
put a stupid
Michael,
voice,
are you still here?
Yeah, exactly.
put a stupid voice in their thing.
What are you talking about? Wait a minute. But you're right. It is challenging sometimes because you can get like either not a good reader or sometimes the casting director wants to read with you. And so then you got, I'm looking at you, you're my, and the casting director's kind of doing this because
Yeah.
they're not memorizing a line. And then there's going to be, this kind of a movement. So now you have a lag between what's supposed to be this kind
Yeah.
of, it's a
pretty
new thing
dreadful.
for us to.
Yeah.
Master.
To be honest, I can't do it.
What was it for?
It's challenging.
It was for a series.
I love that he's let it go already.
Good.
It was
love
for
that.
a series.
So he's like somewhere.
I can't remember. I know the last one I did was a self tape, and that was for Fire Country.
Yeah, Fire Country. Yeah.
Yeah, playing.
You should hire him.
Yeah,
Well,
and it just it's just a
Different
world.
landscape.
It's a different
It is,
landscape.
isn't it?
well,
It
we're
is.
thrilled that you guys came in live.
Yeah.
Yeah,
right?
really.
And
Like, because this
Almost.
is nice.
yeah.
It's been lovely.
I told my agent, I said, "Can I do a Zoom?" And he said, "No." No, it's always a pleasure. I don't
No.
do these. I don't do these.
No,
I
you
really
don't.
don't.
And, we're
Yeah.
so
Both
honoured
for-
that
I mean,
you
we've-
came in again.
We've seen you several times.
I know, it's
yeah, I
nice.
mean, you a couple of times.
This is
and-
my second time. Yeah.
Michelle's third.
But I was really glad that we had a chance, especially because we most of the time when we did a couple of things on with Wills, and then with at the premiere
Right.
thing.
Right.
Ready Room and
Right.
Yeah, but I never really had a chance to just her and I just do our thing. And I really want to say those things in front because I never
nice.
had a
He's
chance
such
to
a
do
good
it before.
No, it's beautiful. It's
And
really
of course,
lovely.
she has she's married to a wonderful actor.
Yes,
Yeah.
he's
Yes,
not
he
bad,
is.
isn't he? He's a
He's
pretty good
pretty
actor,
good.
that one.
I saw the promos for his show.
High potential. Yeah.
High
yeah, it's
potential.
good. He's talented, that little
He's
that little whippersnapper.
that little whippersnapper. I remember watching Deadwood when he played the first season. He plays Jack McCall, and then he comes back second season to play Francis Wolcott. And we were sitting in the living room, and I'm watching him play with Francis Wolcott, and I did like the slow turn back to him. I was like, "What
Are you?
oh my God!"
Yeah.
yeah. He's a.
when I first saw him at on Law and Order, and
was
he
he
played a
white supremacist?
racist.
Yes, he's
a
always
white.
playing.
He was so. I hated his
Yeah.
guts, just because he was just so,
He came over to me. He did that film with The Believer with Ryan Gosling eons ago, and he's a skinhead, right? And I remember being on Union Square at a movie theater, going to meet up with him to go see a movie, and I'm standing there, and he comes over to taps me on the shoulder, and I turn around, and he's like,
had the
tatted
cut.
up. Oh my God, they had him bald and tatted up, and I was like, oh God, okay, all right, no, it's okay, I just, woo, all right,
honey.
let's,
I love you.
I love you.
Let's skip the movie.
let's just.
I didn't go there, Dominic. That was although I will tell you that when he did a film down in South Africa, Last House on the Left, which was a remake from
Oh, I know that. Yeah.
Wes Craven's original, and he had black hair and like this black goatee, and I did that long flight to South Africa, and I came, get off the plane, and I see this man that I did not recognize, but he looked cute. I did go, well, hello there. There was.
Do you have an accent?
I know, right? Please speak to me now.
Oh God. Anyway, I'm really glad we had this
Yeah.
time.
Bless you guys.
Likewise,
I wouldn't.
Thank you very much.
You both
My
look
pleasure.
fantastic.
Oh,
Thank
it's
you.
wonderful.
Thank you.
I adore this man right here. I really do.
Yeah, and that's the other great thing is that you meet somebody like her and you connect, and now we're friends forever.
Forever.
Yeah.
Forever.
Yeah, welcome
doesn't
to the
happen
family.
often.
Because
That's right.
that's the truth, isn't it?
Happen often,
It's
yeah.
true.
You're sort of new on the block. Well, half
Yeah.
new on the block, but
Truly,
it's
though.
a forever thing now.
Block.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's amazing. It's amazing to be part of this community, and
It
I
really
thank you
is.
guys so much. I really do.
Thank
I
you.
really do.
And what,
Love you.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah. All right, trivia question. Which Deep Space Nine crew member goes MIA during the course of the series.
I don't know.
That's 7 years.
That's a long. Might not have been.
My God, the second ADs must have been going crazy.
Where are they? Where are they? Where are they?